A few weeks ago, I did a video touching on the Church of England and asking the question, where is the Church of England after a Christian nurse was suspended from the NHS for misgendering a transgender male prisoner? The Church of England was silent about that, and it's been silent about many of these issues in the past, and continues and looks like they'll continually to be silent about these issues in the future. If you don't know, and perhaps if you're not involved in the Anglican circles or the Church of England circles, or simply unaware of what's going on, there is some big movement taking place in the Anglican Church as we speak. It's been going on for the past few weeks, and it is going to continue in the next few weeks and probably years to come, actually. The Archbishop of Canterbury is the head of the Church of England. Anglicanism, or Anglicans, really come under that broad spectrum of the Church of England, which resides obviously in England, and Canterbury being in London. The Bishop of London really is the Bishop of Canterbury, or the Archbishop of Canterbury, the head, you would say, of the church. Now, technically, the king is the head of the church, but to make it easier, the person that's in charge of the Church of England is the Archbishop of Canterbury. And there hasn't been an Archbishop of Canterbury for the last 2 years, I think it is. Justin Welby was the Archbishop, and then he resigned over some serious church allegations and things that were going on. He wasn't a part of them, but he didn't deal with the allegations well, so he resigned. And for the first time in the Church of England's history, they have elected a woman as the Archbishop of Canterbury. Sarah Motherley, I believe, is her name. And this has caused quite a storm, to say the least, in the Anglican circles. Now, I don't think it's because she's necessarily the first woman archbishop. I think it's got to do more with the way that she conducts herself and her beliefs about some certain core Christian doctrines that the Church of England really has been historically, in the last few years, very, very wishy-washy on these. If you remember, I did a response video to N.T. Wright, who was the former Bishop of Durham and famous Anglican scholar, who responded to some questions about abortion. And really, his questions simply reflect where the Church of England is right now. So the new Archbishop of Canterbury is a self-proclaimed pro-choice individual when it comes to abortion. She is open to non-traditional marriage as well. I'm not going to get into all of those details, but I think what this shows is that the Church of England, by trying to be relevant in the culture, has actually become totally irrelevant. Nobody cares about what the Church of England has to say. Nobody cares about the new Archbishop of Canterbury. Really, what the Church of England has become, and I'm very sad to say this, and as someone who attends an Anglican church in America, and someone who was actually brought up in the Church of England when I lived in the UK, really the Church of England has become just pomp and circumstance. It's just become tradition. When there's a new monarch, the Church of England gets involved. When there's Christmas carols and Christmas services, the Church of England gets involved. When there's a royal wedding, the Church of England gets involved. When there's a royal baptism, the Church of England gets involved. Really, that's all it is. It has probably as much influence and power as the king does. And really, that's probably stretching it. You could argue that the sovereign actually has more power than the Church of England. And consider how much power and influence the Church of the king actually has. I think that really tells the whole story. So what's happened? Well, GAFCON, which is the Global Anglican Conference, and really this has been going on since 2008, maybe even before, but they've made the decision now they haven't really used this word, but essentially they've split. They've split from the Church of England. They no longer recognise Canterbury. They no longer think that they are the true Anglican communion. And GAFCON and this community of Anglicans are now rising up and saying, we are the true face of Anglicanism. And as much as it's sad, because you want to see more unity in the body of Christ, and really the whole point of the King's Coalition began by trying to consider how important it is to talk about our differences, that doesn't mean that there are not some certain key and core doctrines that we have to stand by. And if we are going to be wishy-washy on where we stand on life, I really don't think that we can call ourselves one community. So I think actually, even though this is sad, I think it's going to be a good thing. I think it's going to be a good thing for Anglicanism. I think it's going to be a good thing for the church, and I think it's going to be a good thing for the world. This is just my theory. There is some data. I think the Pew Research has recently did some studies on university students and how Christianity is actually becoming more and more, I wouldn't say popular, but I would say it's more and more of an interest for those who are seeking Christianity and whether Christianity and religion is true in general. But my theory is, as young people especially have rejected and continually reject what culture and what secularism is teaching them, I think that the response that young people are going to have to that is try and consider what secularism was trying to replace. And ultimately what that was trying to replace is core Christian values and Christianity. And by seeking Christianity, I believe that young people and other people, non-young people as well, older people, I suppose is how you would phrase that. Older people as well would, I think they will, having rejected secularism and what the culture says and look at Christianity, I think they're going to go a step beyond that and think about what are the traditions that lie behind Christianity? What is the history that lies behind Christianity? And by doing that, I think we're actually going to see a really slow but significant uprise in those who are going to go to traditional churches. And that is why those in the traditional denominations, even the Roman Catholic Church in this sense, and the more traditional Protestant churches like Anglicanism, I think that it's a call for those who are in that denomination to ensure that they are biblically grounded at a strong foundation and standing up for biblical truth, because more and more people are coming to the church. And I think this is absolutely vital for us to get right. So it's sad always, but I think it's ultimately a good thing. And my prayer is that those who stand up for biblical truth will take a stand and continue to take a stand. That Anglicanism and the church worldwide is actually in a strong and faithful position for Christians to know that there is richness to the faith, and for non-Christians to come and realize that not only are there answers here, not only is this the true answer to what was trying to replace it, but the traditions are still there and it's still strong. That's our prayer that I think we should all be praying, and we're going to look at this closely as the weeks, months, and years continue with the movement in the Anglican Church.